It has been 1 week since Meta's new platform Threads launched. The new micro-blogging platform surpassed 100 million signups in just 5 days. That's something that took Twitter almost 5 years. But will it be a Twitter killer? Let's bring in Ollie Mogharabi, analyst with Morningstar Investment Services. Ollie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Sure.
So what do you make of the speed that Threads has attracted people?
It's certainly impressive, as you said, Jacqueline. It's the fastest ever. I think one of the drivers was probably the timing. And who knows? Maybe Meta actually speeded up that process as it was made aware of what Elon Musk had actually tweeted. And that was basically restricting its users in terms of how many posts or how many tweets they can read per day. So the timing was perfect. And I think, yes, it was pretty impressive. But again, some of those users could have been either permanently or temporarily disappointed Twitter users that went on there and actually downloaded the app.
Yeah, and I guess another question is whether they use it. I mean, it's one thing to sign up for it, but another thing to actually stick with it and post.
That's a great point. Absolutely. I mean, we need to have more time to get a better idea about engagement on there. How many minutes per day are users spending time on the app on average? Are they engaged? Are they interacting with other users? Are they actually reading a lot of posts? Are they reacting to content and so forth? And these are the types of things that the advertisers will be looking for. Of course, the higher the engagement level, the better the potential ROI on an ad would be, and the advertisers could actually begin spending. But another question is also, what is the long-term strategy of Meta when it comes to Threads? Is it actually going to monetize the app? Or is it going to utilize the app to cross-sell or to cross-sell its other apps to the potential new users and or to maintain users in its more enhanced, more improved overall ecosystem? So those questions remain to be answered.
Which strategy do you think would have the most potential for Meta?
We would think probably the monetization, again, assuming that engagement will be high and assuming that user growth will continue. And from a monetization standpoint, it will probably be an ad-based model. And if they go that route, we're thinking that, if Threads gathers around 300 million users by the end of next year and grows at the rate similar to what Twitter was growing, then Threads could probably add between 3 to 4% additional revenue to Meta's overall top line. And it could actually increase our valuation of the company by around 6% or so.
Is that a lot? Do you think that that's significant?
Not really. I mean, we're currently valuing it at $278. We actually have been valuing it over $260, even when the stock was trading in the low 90s last year. So right now, we think it's fairly valued, and 6% of that gets it up to close to around $300. So the upside, from our standpoint, won't necessarily be that attractive.
Interesting. Okay, so then, from your perspective, do you think that this is a worthwhile endeavor that Meta's taken on?
In the long term, yes. As I mentioned, if it's successful, it can actually help enhance that entire ecosystem. And when you've got that enhanced ecosystem, you've got as many users as possible utilizing your various apps. That means you can actually attain a lot of useful information, a lot of useful data about the users and about their behavior, about the types of content that they're consuming. And you can actually utilize that data to enhance your artificial intelligence capabilities, to maybe increase the ROIs on the ads that the advertisers are purchasing, and many different other things that you can do. So yes, to answer your question, from a long-term standpoint, we think it is beneficial for the company.
In terms of next moves for Meta, in keeping people, retaining users, but also attracting more of them, what do you think it will need to do, in order to sort of elevate Threads?
More content, attract, of course, content creators, influencers, the ones that have a lot of users, for example, on Twitter, and they've done that to a certain extent. Of course, if you're a content creator, you want to monetize your content via as many channels as possible. So once you hear about Threads, you're certainly going to open an account on there. Now, of course, again, the question is whether you're going to have enough users on there to consume your content. But I think, yes, to answer your question, I think the main thing for those guys to focus on is to bring in additional content and additional influencers on Threads, get that interaction going, and that could actually create that network effect, that flywheel, which then could actually attract more and more users and so forth.
Ollie, I'm also just curious about, the timing with the advertising component of this, because if Meta waits until it has, 1 billion users or whatever Zuckerberg is aiming for before it starts to explore monetization, is there the possibility that they kind of miss this window of advertisers, turning away from Twitter, and that those advertisers will have gone somewhere else already?
Not necessarily. I mean, there are other social apps available. And of course, one actually created, or I should say founded by Jack Dorsey, co-founder and former CEO of Twitter, and that's Blue Sky. But in terms of apps that are, number one, very similar to Twitter, and number two, of course, that they have already shown, and to a certain extent, the company behind those apps have shown that they can attract users consistently. The only one that comes to mind is Meta's Threads. So I think no matter how long Meta will take to decide whether it's going to monetize, again, I think if the engagement among the users becomes impressive and or at least comparable to what Twitter has had, then advertisers are more likely to go to Threads as their first non-Twitter option.